And welcome back, everybody. We have with us our next guest. Most of us know him from Cannibal Corpse, but today we're here to talk about his solo project, Corpsegrinder. We have with us George Corpsegrinder Fisher. Welcome to the show, George.
How's it going?
And George, of course, we love you with Cannibal Corpse over the years, but now we are all very excited about your solo debut. So tell us about your relationship with Jamie Josta and how your solo project all came about.
Well, basically, I sang a song with Jamie on his Josta record, and he asked me to do "They Want Your Soul" on the Josta record, the last one, and from there, a few months later, he basically just sent me a text like, "Hey, man, you want to do a solo album?" And we just started talking about it, and then he was sending me songs, and then they recorded. I booked the time with Eric Rutan, and the record was done. I mean, it's not really a complicated matter. He just hit me up about it, and I was like, hell yeah, man! And then the ball started rolling, and we're here, and now we're here.
It's like you said, as like a little added treat for all your fans, you do have Eric Rutan as a guest on this album. Of course, Eric, having toured with you, you're quite familiar with his playing style. So what was it like? I mean, was that your idea to have him on the album, or how did that all come about?
Well, Eric's now, a full-time member of Cannibal Corpse
right.
As well. And he's recorded like 5 of the last 6 records we've done. I've known him since he was in Ripping Corpse. Knew him obviously throughout the time, Hate Eternal, we've toured with multiple times, his time in Morbid Angel. He's recorded many records, he's done it all. I've actually done, I've done a bunch of the side vocals that I've done. Guest appearances I've done in his studio. Except for the first wave of Metalocalypse voices I did, the rest, the first thing I went to Titmouse Studios and did them, but then the rest I've done at Rutan's studio. I like working with him. He's the best. We get along. He's a death metal singer. Anything that I would miss, he will pick up. Anything that he would miss, I would pick up. And then of course when we did the record, I was like, hey, we need to get you on one of the songs. Of course, it just made perfect sense. It's the best relationship. I don't have I'm not averse to working with other people. When I did Serpentine Dominion, I recorded with Adam D. He of course, wrote the music on the record. Mm-hmm. When I did the Voodoo Gods records, I recorded my vocals with Andy LaRocque from King Diamond. So I'm fine with working with anyone. But the first 2 Paths of Possession records I did, those were with Rutan. Mm-hmm. So I've done I've done a bunch of records with Eric now, like 7 or 8.
Yeah, and like I said, for the fans, we love that anyways, So tell us, who are the other musicians that accompany you on this album?
Okay, well, Nick Belmore played drums, recorded, mixed the record, and his brother Charlie Belmore played guitars and bass on the record. And they've, you would know them from, they played with Dee Snider. I believe they played on those records. I believe they're playing on the Josta records as well.
Okay, so now tell us about this album. So what kind of music you got going on here? What are you singing about?
There's some fantasy. There's some lyrics about getting revenge on some people, and like Acid Vat's very self-explanatory. Into the acid vat you must go. So, and the music I think is a mix. It's got a lot of hardcore influence in it. That's the one thing I think that will stand out to most people. That it's got a lot of hardcore influence in it, and it's got a lot of hardcore influence that has there's a lot of especially early 90s hardcore that's and mid 90s whatever, like Biohazard, that had that almost the rap kind of quality to the vocal patterns. So there's some of that. Of course, there's some death metal in there. There's some thrash metal elements as well. I think it's a good mix of some of the more extreme forms of music. And then my voice is just, it's my voice. It's what people are accustomed to, I think.
And of course, with Jamie Josta being involved, we would expect nothing less than some of these hardcore influences going in there.
Of course.
And so what was this whole experience like for you now recording as a solo artist without the same familiar vibe of recording with your band?
Well, it's just, I mean, with Cannibal, basically, I mean, it's well known. I'm not much of a lyric writer. I'm just, I'm not. I just never really took to it. I wrote one of the songs on one of the Past Obsession records, and it took me forever. It's just kind of not my thing. I mean, I will never say never. It's possible somewhere down the line I wake up and become a lyricist, but at this point right now in time, I'm not. And as far as like with Cannibal, Alex, Paul, even Eric now, and Rob write the lyrics. And so usually when we record, it's Eric and whoever wrote the lyrics for each song. So the difference was just that me and Eric were together recording the Josta record. It was just me and Eric that, recording. And, we would just, of course, send the songs to Jamie. And then he would give us, if he thought maybe this should be changed or that should be changed. And then we would go back and forth with that. And more or less, though, it was like basically I would say, hey, I think there was one or two parts where Jamie was like, hey, it sounds like this. And I'm like, no, dude, it's fine. I'm telling you, just trust me. Trust Eric. And he's just like, of course he trusts us. And he's like, oh, okay, But in general, it was just Cannibal, we're not all together when we're recording,
right.
Usually it's, we're different guys are doing different things. And, when I'm doing the vocals, of course, like I said before, it's just me and the guys who wrote the lyrics. So it was different because Jamie wasn't there, but Routine being there. I mean, like I said before, I'm not averse to recording with other people, but there's nobody, if I have my say, that I'd rather record with because we just work so well together. And, and look, he's a fine death metal singer in his own right, and I know that if there's something I will miss, he's on top of it. We have a microscope when we are in the studio when we record.
And now we're loving the cover art too. It's great. So tell us about the concept and the artist.
Well, Dan Goldsworthy did the art, and he made, he came up with some sketches, and I had some ideas. Basically, I wanted to be in a post-apocalyptic city, and with that in the background, and then just a bunch of zombies coming at me, and me like, it's almost superhero-esque. It's like I'm just saving the day. I'm ripping. I have one zombie by its neck. And half it's the torso, its legs down are ripped off. It's half the body, and the other one is falling back as I've ripped its heart out. So it's me kicking ass, saving the day, I guess.
Well, it's great. It's really fun to look at, anyways, too, with the colors and the art.
That was kind of the point too. I didn't want it to be like Cannibal Corpse. We have serious looking covers. I mean, they're and obviously we're not. We're not as crazy as the covers look, but I wanted this to have a a cartoonish, comic book kind of feel to it. It's not to be taken seriously. Yeah, there's a little bit of gore in there, but it's not overdone.
No.
I'm not, because I wanted to kind of be fun and and be set it apart from what Cannibal Corpse has done.
Oh, absolutely. And now, is this something that you plan like? I know this is your debut album, but is this something that you plan on maybe doing future releases as?
Oh, sure. Yeah. We 100%. I have to work with my management, who also manages Cannibal Corpse. Just have to work with them and try to make sure I, space out, find the space rather, because Cannibal Corpse is my priority, but, find the space to tour. 100%. I'm intent on touring with this. I'm 100% intent on doing more records. Obviously, if Jamie's down with that, which I'm fairly certain he is. The plan is not to just do this one-off record and never do anything for it. I wouldn't. I've done a few records before that just we never were able to tour with. We never were. We did some interviews and whatnot, but we never really did anything else with it. And I refuse to let this happen. I really think I really love this album.
Yeah, it's great.
I listen to it a lot, and I just, and I'm excited for people to hear it. And I don't want to let it die. I just don't want it to just come out and then people forget about it. I want people to to know that we're going to be out supporting it. It's going to happen. There's just logistics involved, and we'll figure that out. We'll work it out. But I fully intend to be out doing it and to do more records.
Well, I mean, I'm absolutely loving it. And it's like you said, when the artist goes solo, you're kind of like, you know, but it's your voice is your voice no matter what you're doing, you know, George?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And now, when you... I know this is kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but I mean, and you just said you want to kind of go out and pursue this, you know, because it's fun and it's a good deal or whatever. But do you think that maybe, you know, you'll switch up the musicians that you play with, or would you like to go with the same people that are on this album, or will you just cross that damn bridge when you get there?
Well, I 100%. It's obviously up to other people's schedules and whatnot, but I've talked to Jamie about this, and I have not directly talked to Nick and Charlie about this, but the intention is, yes, for them to come out and play. You know, they played on the record. I want them to be there on the tour. You know, who knows the songs better than they do? I mean, so I intend on them. I have two friends of mine here that I'm gonna, you know, that'll be announced sometime. Whenever. Right. I don't want to do any. I don't really want to announce anything. You know, it's you know, it's just, you know, Nick and Charlie played on the record, so you know, people have asked me this question. But I have two friends. I have two friends, dear friends of mine that I'm going to that I have in place for playing second guitar and bass. I've got, you know, I have a lot of the pieces in place. Like they're there and just waiting to see, you know, if an offer comes along, because I don't know if I'm going to, you know, I don't really think it's feasible to do a headlining tour with 10 songs. I mean, I would have to do some covers and whatnot, and then you got to, you know, then we got to deal with that. So right now, just waiting to see. I mean, but, you know, as far as the headlining, never say never. But right now, just get the album out, see what the reaction is, and then see if some offers come along, see if they work in line with anything that we have lined up with Cannibal. And, you know, like I said, I have my management on all that, and then we'll work it out. But I definitely the plan is, of course, to have Charlie and Nick, you know, do the tours. And
now you also have some stuff out there for people to order. So what's like the best sites that people could go to get some merch and to pick up the CD and whatever you have out there?
Martyrstore.net is where we have all the bundles. There's pre-order bundles for, I believe we're going to have cassettes out. You can still get I think you can still get the Respect the Next shirt. But the record, we have different bundles. I'm not sure exactly which ones. Some have a poster. I think all of them have the CD. I'm going to be signing them. All of them.
Oh, that's cool.
And, you know, so hopefully it's 10 million people order it.
That's a lot of signing.
I would do it. It would take me a little bit of time. But I'm gonna, you know, there's signed versions of the CD, and I think there's one with a poster. I think that is signed. I'm not sure exactly which ones are, what bundles have what's signed, but you can get signed, unsigned. There's bundles for everyone. That's martyrstore.net. And I'm working on something else that really I'll put it on my Instagram sometime soon, but I just can't really discuss it right now. But I'm working on another thing that has to do with merch. So
we'll be looking forward to that. And there you guys have it. Corpsegrinder has a new album out next month. You can go to, actually, you have your website too, thecorpsegrinder.com, and it has links to your what's going on with you guys and links to the merch and all that kind of stuff. You guys could go pick up your favorite version, you know, whether you want, I think there's some cassettes up there, there's CDs up there, and a bunch of other stuff to pick from. And, you know, George, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today and telling us about your solo project. And love it. We're excited to see where this goes, and all the best to you in the new year.
Awesome. Thank you. You too.